Hey, welcome to Mccrackins Corner. McCracken on location in an undisclosed location.
You're in a bunker.
With our guest today, Dave Mikulskis. How you doing today, Dave?
Good, how are you?
Well, I can't complain. What originally got you started into music?
45s, 45 records on the record player, singing to them. My sisters and I would get up in front of people and sing to the crowd. My actual first experience performing in front of people. And then,
How old was it? How old were you?
Oh, probably 6, 7. And we would listen to AM radio in the car when we would go anywhere. And I would sing to that. But the very first, earliest memories that I have of rock music. So that was 75, 76, 77. And it was, my mom played guitar, and then I picked up the guitar and learned to play based on...
What age?
Maybe 10.
At 10?
She taught me a few chords, and then as I got older, I learned more from other people that I knew that played guitar. But I was always singing since I could speak, really. I was in the boys' choir in school, in grade school.
Okay.
So singing was always first for me, and still is. I got my first solo when I was in 5th grade. It was pretty nerve-wracking because it's quiet in church, and there's no, you stand up at the podium, the microphone's there, it's loud, it's echoey.
So when your mother was, she played guitar in the house and
she sang. She sang
also. And she started teaching you how to play the guitar when you were, what did you say, 10?
About 10.
Around 10 years old?
Yeah.
And what kind of music were you learning at that time?
Well, anything that was easy to play, open guitar chords on the guitar. But she would sit on the front porch in the neighborhood, and we would all sit around and sing whatever she was playing. So
nice.
A lot of John Denver, mostly easy listening / folk, but no rock, none. I mean, maybe a little Elton John, Daniel here and there. Songs like that she would play. So
you were getting introduced to it at that time. Were you playing anything else or interested in playing any other instruments at that time?
So my sisters took organ lessons through school, and they're 3 and 4 years younger than I am. And they took lessons, and the teacher would come to the house and give them organ lessons, and then the teacher would leave, and then I would get the books out, and I taught myself how to play the organ.
Really?
Yeah.
So you learned how to read music yourself?
Well, so I played clarinet in the school band.
Okay.
So I could read the music. I wasn't very good at reading and playing at that point, but I figured out what the chords were. I was able to transpose. It just came easy.
So when you were in grade school or high school when you were playing the clarinet, or were you in a band? When did you?
Started that in 4th or 5th grade.
Oh, so young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
played by ear.
By ear.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, after 10 years old, you guys are playing or singing John Denver outside.
Right.
And
right.
Who's playing the guitar?
My mom.
Your mom's playing guitar. Okay. Did you guys switch off at that time?
No, I wasn't really playing much.
Mom ran the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Until actually when I was 15, my first band. I was introduced to a friend of mine who I'd met, and I'm still friends with now. My best friend. He knew a couple of guys who had just gotten new instruments, guitar player and a bass player. He said, "Hey, Rich and Joe, they're looking for a singer. You interested?" I said, "Sure." So I brought my guitar over, and we strung up a microphone over the rafters in the garage with no mic stand, just a Radio Shack microphone.
Yeah.
And we had our first rehearsal with a drummer that was from the neighborhood as well. So that was 15. That was 1982.
Yep.
A little Black Sabbath, Paranoid,
Okay.
a little Zeppelin, rock and roll, because they were pretty standard blues chords. What else did we play? Too Hot to Handle, UFO.
Wow, that's a range.
It's a pretty diverse group, and Foxy Lady, Purple Haze.
Okay.
But we did those over and over and over.
And did you sing those all the
did.
time? Did you do any of the instrumental?
I had a guitar, and I did the best that I could with, because I had never really played an electric guitar. I had one, and I hadn't really played it. It was just acoustic open chords, so I had to learn how to play bar chords because from Rich, the guitar player, who showed me a couple of things here and there.
So at that time, your garage band, what was the name of it?
Oh, we didn't have a name at that point, I don't think. I mean, we over the years we were etc.
Etc.
with an X. Slander. There was actually we entered
The same group of guys?
Well, mostly. But that first group never really had a name. Nasty Habits, maybe, was one of the names.
And did you guys perform for anybody?
Not the four of us. We got a new guitar player and did our first show at a block party.
Oh, okay.
I was 16.
Well,
It wasn't well attended.
It wasn't.
No, but it was fun. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I can say this, but we passed a hat. $12 and a joint.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's legal now, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, I didn't even get it. The guitar player took it. He said gas money, and he took all of it. So that was 16, summer of '83. Went to Curie High School on the south side because they had a graphic arts program, which is what I do for a living.
Okay.
And I met two guitar players at that point, and so the bass player and the drummer and I hooked up with them. Jimmy Provenzano.
Now, at that time, were you playing keyboards, or were you doing the guitar at that time? Or were you
No
pretty
keyboards
much...
yet. Not until probably I was 20.
Okay, so right now you're the
singing,
vocalist,
yeah,
the lead or the head of the band. How'd you like doing that?
Oh, I
At that
enjoyed
time?
it. I enjoyed
At
it a
that
lot.
time, you were
yeah.
comfortable with it?
Yeah, we did a lot of heavy metal. We did some Dio. We did a band called Fastway. We did some Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Motley Crue had just come out in 1982.
Some of those are ringing the bell.
Yeah. So we did a lot of those. We did a lot of Scorpions. No keyboards, so we didn't do anything that
Not at that
required
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you do play keyboards now.
I
right?
do, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't.
But not in the band. It was a little of a downtime for me. I mean, I was looking for a band. Got together with another guitar player, and then we finally started playing bars when I had turned 21.
Okay, so you're out of high school now.
Out of high school now.
You're
Playing in bars. First bar that we ever played was in Frankfurt.
Well, what did you guys call yourself at the time?
So at that point, we became City Limits.
Since City Limits.
Yeah.
Okay.
We played at a place called Reflections in Frankfurt. Did our first show there. I played keyboards. I actually had a Yamaha CP70 piano, which is a kind of, the harp gets put on. You can transport it by taking the harp off.
And how'd you learn how to play that?
Learn how to play with my left hand just by watching.
Wow, that's pretty interesting, yeah.
People can play by ear, and some people can't play by ear, but can read beautifully and just be able to play. You have to write it down and be able to, and then play it that way. I do think that I've been well served with playing by ear, so I've been lucky.
What kind of music did you guys play too?
So then, by that point, we were doing. Actually, we were doing a lot of music out at the time. In Excess and Ice House, remember those bands?
Sure.
Some Journey, we did some REO, did some Boston.
And in a night set, how many songs would you plan on playing?
Back then it was different because we would play essentially 9 till 1 or 10 till 2, 4 hours with 2 breaks. So it was, I don't know, about 35, 40 songs a night.
Okay.
Some places, there was one place in particular that you would play till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Good God.
Yeah. Thank God they don't have those anymore. I mean, they have bars that stay open, but the bands don't play that long. So we did that for probably until, let's see, that was 88 till 95. Essentially the same group of guys. City Limits. City Limits became Renegade, which was a Styx cover band, because everybody was doing cover, tribute bands at that point.
Okay. And how many members were in your band at that time?
4.
So you had a
Guitar player, keyboard player, 5.
5.
Guitar player, keyboard player, drummer, and bass player and myself.
Okay, so 5. Okay.
Yeah. And I wasn't playing keyboards at that point. We got a keyboard player to do it full time, and then I just was out front.
Okay. Now, were you always the only singer, or did you guys share different roles at that time?
I think, for the most part, I'd always been the primary vocalist.
Did you ever feel like you needed a break after, say, you're playing for an hour and a half or something? And did you ever feel
There's been days, sure, but never to the point where we needed to get a second vocalist to cover it, because then I would just be standing around playing the tambourine, which would be fine, but I never felt like it was that important until maybe 8 years ago.
Okay.
So 95, I got married in 94. Wasn't really having any fun.
Musically?
Playing musically.
Okay.
We weren't making money. I mean, we were making some money, but we were putting it back in the band, rehearsal space. And it just wasn't fun. And I had to get away. I had to get out of it. So that band broke up. I left. And then it disbanded. And then about 2000, end of 2000, beginning of 2001, between 95 and 2001, I had done musical theater.
So musical theater is that acting and singing? Is that
Acting and singing, right. So I tried it, and I enjoyed it.
And how many years did you do that?
From 95 to 2000,
So
about 5
pretty
years.
good stretch.
Yeah. But I found that...
Now, was that a hobby, or was that something you were doing full-time?
No.
Passion of yours that
Yeah,
you
that's
wanted
right.
to do? Okay.
Exactly. Really no different than playing in a band. I never called it a hobby. It was my passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you write your first song?
I was 18. He had this intro that he had come up with, and he said, maybe we can do something with
And
this.
you put some words to it?
Put some words to it, but that was essentially became the first verse, the little intro.
So what was on your mind, or how did you come up with the lyrics? What pushed you to, whatever the lyrics were, what pushed you to bring those lyrics in?
A lot of times, so any time that I've written, most of the time that I've written songs, it's never been, I don't have a preconceived idea of what the song is going to be about until I hear it, and then I come up with a melody, and then I just kind of say gibberish.
You mean so you actually do the musical part first?
Anytime that I've written a song, I've always written the music first.
Really? And then you add the lyrics to it afterwards?
That's right.
Wow.
And make it fit to the music.
I mean, you've always done it that way?
I've always done it that way.
Oh.
I've never been able to write a poem or a song lyrically and then put music to it. Well, you get the chords down first, something that sort of flows together and makes sense, and then you get a chorus. This would be the chorus, and then you get the chord structure for the chorus, which would be different from the verse, just so that there's differentiating. And then go, okay, got a verse and a chorus. Now let's try to put words to it, but maybe in melody first. So the melody, and then the lyrics that fit that melody. I mean, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So I've written a song in a half an hour, and I've written a song in 4 years.
Wow.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Now, have you performed any of your songs that you've written?
Yes.
So I got to ask you now, when you put the lyrics together for a song, do you base it on personal experience? Or
I think that I've written songs based on movies that I've seen, the stories that I get played out at a movie theater. I've based it on personal experience. Sometimes it's just about somebody else's personal experience, the people that I know. Most of the time, I try to write so that people can relate to it, so that it's kind of universal, even if it isn't specific to somebody's particular situation. In about 91, the landscape was changing in the Chicago area, and High Infidelity came out in 1990.
Who formed High Infidelity?
Virgil Neese formed it in 1990.
So it was already going.
It was already going. We had actually done shows with them as City Limits. That's how I knew Virgil at that time. I had received phone calls from a few bands to inquire if I was ready to come back to be their singer, and I always declined. Virgil had called me a few times. Finally, in 2001, I said, maybe.